Alright, welcome back everybody to Monster Hunter. In the off time, I did have enough saved up research that I was able to talk to the old hunter, the young hunter, the third fleet lady, and basically you talk to them, you go, you're supposed to collect the tracks. Well, I already collected all the tracks, and then you go talk to the research guy that's below where the food area is, and he goes, oh, you should go back and talk to the original person. So you went person, researcher, back to the person, and then this unlocks the three elder dragons, which are Valhazak.
Get an upgrade from shooting stars to superstars if we actually do find Valhazak here.
Valhazak. I don't know anything about Monster Hunter, earlier Monster Hunter games. So I'm unsure if Valhazak was in earlier Monster Hunter games or not. Good chance he was, good chance he wasn't. I know Teostra, which is one of the other Elder Dragons, was definitely in some of the older Monster Hunters. And then I'm pretty sure there's a third one. Why am I forgetting his name? Kashalador. I'm pretty sure he's in probably one of the earlier games as well, but for the sake of me not knowing, I'll just say that I can't say for certain whether those other two are. So we're gonna fight Valhazak first. Not because they're all different from each other. They all bring interesting little factoids or different wrinkles. But Valhazak is the one that I think you can be least prepared for of the three. And that's because he has a special status that I don't think there's any build or makeable armor or gems up to this point that can negate this effect. Whereas when we fight Teostra, we fight Kashalador, we'll be able to negate certain aspects that they do, like having protection against blast, blight, and having protection against like wind, like being windproof. Obviously that won't stop him from hitting like a freight truck, but Valhazak has sort of a unique attribute that you're about to see in this cutscene. So the game's going to kind of teach us here if you're smart. As you can see, these gyros are affected with this effluvial veil thing that we've seen before, even before running into Valhazak. We've seen certain gyros with this like effluvial stuff on him. But what Valhazak does is he infects you with this status, and then he does this, which allows him to heal himself off of your own health. So one of the things you'll see about this as we fight him is he has this status effect that'll basically take your health and half it. So instead of you having, say, 100% health, you're now at max 50% health. And then when he pulls the whatever you call this, miasma, back into himself, he'll drain your health and he will kill you if you stand too close to him.
Valhazak is really here. Tracker, we found him. Now we can go ahead with our research.
So you see how he just kind of sprayed that out. He does a much bigger version of that attack where he actually spews out like the only word I can use is miasma. And as far as I know, the only way to really evade this status effect is he's got one or two pieces of armor that basically give you a resistance and then immunity to this status effect. So plus is one of the other really big benefits of I wouldn't say necessarily fighting Valhazak first, but his armor, when you've equipped, I think, at least 3 to 4 pieces, it gives you the ability where you slowly are regenerating your health. So if we cut back in a future episode, maybe not this, well, definitely not this episode, and maybe not even the next episode or the episode after that, if I choose off-screen to farm Valhazak, you're going to probably see me run his armor almost exclusively the rest of this game, because he's got that, like I said, the passive ability to slowly heal you up, which is kind of nice.
Have you got a nullberry on
Yeah,
you?
there's the fluvial. Even though I'm wearing whatever you call those, whatever you call the belt hips thing. So the armor I'm wearing on my hip is supposed to negate a fluvial, but it only negates just the, you know, as it slowly chews at your health. It doesn't actually protect you from Valhazak's attack. So I don't actually have, am I gonna die here? I was gonna say, I don't exactly have a nullberry on me. I kind of forgot I needed that. That was a good dodge. So what we're gonna do is we're going to run back to camp now. And I'm gonna get some nullberries. And then probably get something to snack on, because he's I don't know, using up a lot of energy right now. I don't know if I'm at full energy or not. Anywho, a couple other things to worry about in this lower area that we've not really had to deal with up to this point, because the only one who would come down this far would be the Odogaron, but he doesn't even come down to this very bottom area. But if you look at this watery looking stuff, it's not actually water, it's acid, which was brought up earlier when we met the Odogaron for the first time, and our handler almost got eaten. So yeah. So we don't want to stay. If you see any water down here, you don't want to stand in it, because, like I said, it is acidy, whatever. So yeah, we're gonna go get some nullberries. I don't know if it's really gonna make much difference here in the long run, because if he keeps infecting me with the effluvial attack that he does, I'm pretty sure the nullberry is not gonna take me. You know, if it halves my health and I get affected with it and I take a nullberry, I'm pretty sure my health's not going to go back up to 100%. My total health will, you know, where my health bar will go back to 100, but I'm pretty sure my whatever green bar he eats by infecting me with that status effect is not going to immediately, you know, snap your fingers, you eat a nullberry, and then boom, you're right back to being 100% of health. This is sort of the point, not necessarily right at this exact moment, but when you start running into tempered versions of Valhazak and the other Elder Dragons, that's when you sort of, at least in terms of playing strictly vanilla only, you're hitting the ceiling where, you know, up to this point you might have been able to overpower monsters by, you know, saving the grinding for later. You know, pick up stronger weapons, come back and really just grind out the armor. Now you've essentially hit the top of you're hitting the top of the mountain, particularly with the tempered versions of these monsters. And when you do, it starts to become less of okay, I'm gonna try to solo this monster, and it's more like, okay, me and my friends, or me and these people are aligned, are gonna run this quest. I think the worst version of this, in terms of, I don't know if you can, I mean, I'm sure there's a guy out there somewhere who can run the quest by himself, but the worst version is, Monster Hunter, both in this Monster Hunter World as well as Wilds, has done a Final Fantasy crossover, wherein, you don't want to go where I'm at right now, this is bad for you. But so Monster Hunter World got a crossover with one of the most obnoxious things you can fight in Final Fantasy, which is a behemoth. So they took the behemoth fight out of what is it? 14, Final Fantasy 14. I think that's the one that's online. And they brought it into Monster Hunter and basically made it like a Final Fantasy-esque quest where you have a tank and a healer and some DPSs. And that's how you're supposed to build your team. So you're supposed to run like a... Ideally, you're supposed to run something like something with a lot of defense. I want a Great Lance is usually ideal because they have the ability. I'm gonna faint here, aren't I? Yep. Luckily, I gotta get out a free jail card with my Palico, so that doesn't guarantee I won't card here in a second. But yeah, so probably the best one to use. So you can probably use Gun Lance and maybe not Great Sword. Maybe Charge Blade. Because those are things that have big shields that can protect you from a lot of incoming damage. Particularly the two lances. Your DPSs would probably be either something ranged, like bowgun, or I guess bowgun and bow and arrow would could be either a DPS or a healer, because they do get access to shots that do have like a that do have like healing properties where you can shoot into an area and then that area essentially pops like a what do they call it? Vespoid bug. But anyways, and obviously your DPSs would be your well, I guess anyone. I mean, obviously, Hunting Horn would be a very good healer, or at least a support class, and as it always has been. Sword and Shield does everything, so I wouldn't make Sword and Shield your tank because it doesn't have what it takes to be the tank in the party, but it can definitely be the DPS or healer or some combination thereof. Bloosh. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, that fight's really fucking impossible. And then I guess they chose to do a version of this fight in Wilds that I think they just introduced or going to introduce soon. eating right through my health potions. Which is not surprising, but the fact that I've got my Palico on healing duties as well kind of makes me sad. That's a lot of fucking health items we're using to fight this thing. And again, I'm not exactly at the most powerful version of the armor I'm wearing, which as you can see is the same armor we wore, again, for the most part against Nergigante. Of course, these guys are tough. I think these guys are tougher. All three of them are tougher than fighting Nergigante. I don't like fighting Kieran. He's not as tough as these other ones, but he's just a pain in the ass to fight. This is where you usually run away. As you can see, he's taking health from the smaller monsters that keep popping up behind him. So that's what can sort of make this fight last forever. However, we are picking up lots of little drops off of him, so... And I gotta figure out my other... I still haven't unlocked the other Palico items, so I gotta figure out where those get unlocked, when they get unlocked, and kind of get those done, because I feel like I'm missing at least one, if not both, of the Palico items. So yeah, despite the fact that Balhazak kind of has these wing-looking things, he does not fly. He's just sort of like imagine what would happen if you took like a actual dragon and I guess there's a number of different analogies you could use, but he's essentially what would happen if a dragon and a zombie were combined, I think. He's got the wings, but they don't do anything for him. He's sort of rotting away, but at the same time, because he is like a zombie type character, he doesn't actually... He just keeps living indefinitely, and, you know, even though he's sort of falling apart. We're gonna fight Kashala Dor eventually. He kind of looks like a rotted version of Kashala. The only difference is Kashala obviously can fly. Proper dragon, if you will. And what else? Oh yeah, he kind of looks like a dragon. Oh yeah, he's eating my health. You gotta get away from him. So yeah, he looks like a dragon that you would summon in Magic the Gathering, but using almost exclusively... He'd be almost exclusively black swamp magic, though I could also see him being like, I don't know, 2 black and 1 red. So that seems like a lot of designated mana. A lot of times most dragons are like 2 red and 6 generic or something like that, or 7 generic. If you're running 3 specific red, I mean that's not usually a problem in Magic the Gathering, but if you're running 3 specific red, I mean you're asking a lot of the player, particularly if they're running a two color deck, because now you have to get at least 3. You have to pull at least 3 red mana out of your deck, which, depending on how you have it balanced, might be not easy to do. Depends on what you're running. Red-green, you probably can do it without much trouble. Can you ignore me for just a sec? I'd like to sharpen my weapon. Thank you. That was very nice of you for waiting just long enough for me to sharpen. I appreciate that. I definitely will remember that as I'm carving out your heart and eating it to gain your courage. Yep. What else? If I don't card at least one time, I'm gonna be very surprised. Yeah, that was what I mean. I was about a split second away from that Palico heel hitting me, and I could have possibly evaded the cart there, but I am able to eat again because it's been about 15 minutes since the last time I ate. So I do have the ability to eat again. And I'm going to switch up weapons here. And we're going to go, you could go dragon on this. I don't think it's going to make much difference. So I'm going non-elemental. I'm going to pull out, I think I'm going to pull out Jaggerus. I'm looking for something with a long blue sharpen, so I can get the most out of the blue sharpness before I have to, before it drops down into green or yellow sharpness. I start doing less and less damage. Plus, I need to as you can see, I'm going to restock on my health potions, grab the null berries again, and again, because this is an actual Elder Dragon, guaranteed to be an Elder Dragon, I cannot capture it. You can stun it in a lot of cases. You can stun an Elder Dragon using a shock trap, but you cannot. The trank bombs will not do anything, and you cannot take it home with you and put it in your living room. Gotcha, bitch. So, with one of the early cheats to one of the other Elder Dragons, that being Valhazak, or not Valhazak, Kashal Dor, he's a flying monster primarily, okay? And so because he's a flying monster, you could use flash bombs to knock him out of the sky. So the early strategy for fighting Valhazak was you would shoot a flash pod, he'd fall out of the sky, get stunned, you would deal damage, you would do like sort of like a tornado twister where he'd launch himself back into the air. You'd wait for him to spread his wings, you'd shoot another flash pod, and usually with either by carrying extra flash bugs or by having a second player, you could just stun lock Valhazak. I can call him Valhazak, Kashal Dor, into basically not being able to do anything because most of his big attacks come from when he's in the air. And you cannot reach him, and when he's constantly being pinned to the ground, you've negated more than half the battle. So Val is, you can see he's got the little he's got the skull, which means he's almost dead yet, but unlike other things, he has not gone to take a nap yet, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay because I think I forgot to bring my barrel bomb, so he does decide to go and take a nap. He actually will not go back the way he came. For some reason, he'll go through the acid lake to get back to his home base, so you can see he's walking through this, which I'm not going to do because it's acid, and I do not have immunity to acid, and it'll just eat through my health really quickly. So we're going to go the other way. Doesn't have any acid, and then I'm going to meet him on the other side, and I remember barrel bombs. I'll put the barrel bombs down, otherwise we may have to travel back to camp again, provided again, I don't get carted again. We'll see. So I've not been able to use my elemental discharge much, if at all, between the last 2 monster fights we've done. Mainly because they don't really give me a great opening other than when they fall on their side. And I haven't really had the bars to really unleash the full, like right now would be a great time to unleash it, but kind of want that right there, which is his tail. And then you end up going like, oh, I'll do it now. And then as soon as you stick the landing, he goes up like this and knocks you out. Okay, never mind, I did it. I lied. You should be close to death here now. Can you give me this? Thank you. The fluid wheel stuff's so dangerous because you go straight from health, you go straight to health, half health, tail whip, there's a quarter health, which is half, and you're dead. And that's how you cart twice. That's why the Elder Dragons are so fucking dangerous. Because unlike the other fights where I could just easily throw down a electric trap and capture the monster, you have to go through the rest of this battle. And even though they're on their last, they're on, skull health, if you will, you still got to get that last 10% out. It's sometimes like, I don't say half the battle, but it sometimes feels like it. Trying to, not cart the second time or not cart the first time and just get that extra 2, 3, 4, 500 damage that's left in the monster. 1,000 damage, whatever it is. So I grabbed some barrel bombs. The plan is because he should be asleep when we get back to him again. We're going to put the barrel bombs down by him. And then I'll try to shoot the barrel bombs or hit the barrel bombs in some capacity, and then he should blow up and be dead. Or it should at least do a nice chunk of his life. You can see the fucking Vespoid bug still there waiting for me. What a jerk. The other thing I should say is that unlike some of the other monsters we've caught... Yep, run away. You dumbass.
We hope you don't mind us stepping in and taking care of this for you.
Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Grammy? I think she's trying to talk to Grammy. Even though Grandma's not here, she's well, I guess I should have said that earlier in the episode. So, after you discover Valhazak, Grandma goes to the airship where you basically report to her and the 3rd Fleet Commander and let them know like what you found. She's the one who always starts out all of her conversations with ... Oh, it's you. Oh, wow, that's... Anywho, I'm gonna cut the episode here. When we come back, we've got 2 more Elder Dragons to fight. And then we'll see where we're at after that point. So until then, I hope you guys all have a good one.